Okay guys, welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started making some trades here. We've got one of our indicators here that we will be sharing with you and that you'll learn to use. We've got a 1-minute chart here on the left. We've got a 5-minute chart here on the right. We want to use the 5-minute chart to kind of just see the consolidation patterns and support and resistance levels. We're going to use the indicators to determine which trade to make when, and we'll go ahead and make a couple of trades here. We are later in the afternoon, so we're getting into some consolidation. You know, things aren't going to be moving as quickly as they are in the morning, but we'll still be able to make some trades and get some money and get out of the market. So let's go ahead and start making some trades here. All right, one thing you'll notice is that we've just come off of a little signal here where the gray line extends itself away from the red and the green into an oversold position. It's now bounced back up in a single candlestick up to the high side. As these enter up into the overbought position, we can probably go ahead and take a sell off of this high point here right at about 75. Let me change this. We're just going to do, because we're in this consolidation, we're just going to do these quarter point movements, and we'll go from there. Got some lower volume happening right now, and that's what we expect, but we were just going to do quarter points, so we'll take a quarter point on this one, provided it gets us in where we want. There we go, we're in. And sitting on our price, filling contracts, depending on when we get into the order is when we get out. Okay, so we've made our first 62.50 there. We'll keep watching this. What we can see here, you can see that we've plateaued up here in the overbought position. The overbought is referenced by this fuzzy blue line, and moving up above this fuzzy blue line, what we're going to look for is we're going to look for these lines to start to bend over and roll over like you see back here. Okay. So right now we're still in a little bit of an uptrend, and as we hit these highs that we've had, what we're going to do is we're going to recognize times at which it will come up to a high, and it's going to bounce off of that more than likely as we get up into an overbought position. So 55.50 looks like a pretty good resistance level there, and we'll use the indicator. Once it moves up into an overbought position, we'll go ahead and make our trade accordingly. Okay, moving up here, we've got 11 seconds. So you can see here 11 seconds until the next posting. As soon as this moves up into an overbought, we'll look for any type of signal that we can take here to the possibility of taking a sell. There we go. You can see here it moved up into an overbought, and both the red and green and the gray and the black plateaued and started to move back to the short side. Get into the trade. We're into the trade here. 55.25 will be our exit. We'll watch this because if we break this resistance level and keeps going to the long side, we may end up taking some buy orders here as well. So there's our first, our second trade, so 125 bucks. Okay, we'll kind of keep our eye on this. We've got 9 seconds till the next post. If these post and move down into the channel, we may go ahead and take another trade right here at 50. Let's try that, see if it gets us in. It may not get us in on this one because it already moved down to the 25 spot. 25 may have been the correct entry, but 50 would be more likely to fill for us. So we've got 55.50, double plateau here on the 5 minutes. It's just going to be a matter of getting into this trade. Hopefully it has enough contracts to get us in. These are limit orders, not market orders. And so by doing a limit order, you're actually waiting to get into the market at the specific price that you're requesting. As you can see here, it sat on our price for a couple of times, but it didn't fill us, didn't put us actually in the market. So this order is still waiting to be filled. You can see it right here, not filled yet. You can tell by your position up here, it says position 0. That means we don't have any contracts in the market actually right now. Okay, so a sell trade was the right trade there, but it looks like it may have missed our limit order. So we're going to pull this one off of here, and we're going to consider a possible another trade here. We may take a buy trade here. We'll have to see what this 5-minute does. If it moves down into the channel, we'll keep selling. If not, when I say channel, just so you know as well, the channel is between the red and the blue. Okay, overbought is above the blue, oversold is below the red. If this moves down into the channel, we may continue to sell, but we'll have to see what happens here before we decide what we want to do. 55.25. That actually might be okay. Let's see just if we can get a fill in here again. It's a quarter of a point less. You see we tried to get in at 55.50 the first time. This 55.25 just filled much quicker. So now we're trying to get out at 55 even. Okay, there we go. Another 62.50 taken care of. Still just kind of watching this. We've got 1:47 until this next 5 minutes post, so we're probably going to continue to have a little bit of sell pressure, a little bit of selling through the end of the next 5 minutes. So we'll have to kind of decide what we want to do here. Grab my cord. Okay, so you can see the 1 minute getting into the oversold, but that 5 minute is actually still considering rolling over into the oversold right now. Or not oversold, into the channel, excuse me. Okay, moving into the oversold, you can see the gray and red have moved up here, but the gray and black have moved up, but the red and green are still staying to the sell side. 35 seconds to this next post. Let's see here. Let's wait that 35 seconds. We're going to wait because we want to see what happens to these. If these move down into the channel, we're going to go ahead and sell again. If these bounce back up to the buy side, we're going to use this signal on the sell side. We're going to buy here at 54.75 or maybe 55. You can see the consolidation pattern that's occurring right now. 54.50 is kind of going to be the bottom half of that. Okay, they moved down into the channel, so we're actually going to try and sell off of this. You can see this 5 minute move down into the channel, so we're going to try and pick a good sell position. We'll wait for the next bounce back up to the buy side, and then we'll take another sell position here. Ooh, look at that continuation. Missed it, should have taken it. Sometimes it moves quicker than you really think here. Let's see, get 54, 54.5. See if it puts us in here while it's continuing to the short side. This is again a limit order, so I have to get in at the price that I'm asking for versus market order where it'll just give me the next available. Touched our price, didn't get us in. Get rid of those levels. Okay, so it kind of missed us there. Tried to get in for a sell position. It was the right trade, but we missed it. So let's see if we can't get into another one here. We've got a little bit of buy position here going, so it looks like we need an entry. Looks like we need an entry up here. Okay, we got in at 53.5. You can tell that this is long term. This is selling fairly strongly, this 5-minute chart. Okay, when you get this little blip to the long side, what you want to do is you want to let that kick back up, but then follow the trend. Okay, so the same thing may apply right here. We'll see if we can get in again at 53.50. Yeah, didn't quite get us in that time. So let's see, we'll let it kick back up one more time here and missed us. Okay, that's okay. It's not money lost. It's just not that trade didn't work out. So better to have the better execution than to chase the trade. You don't want to chase the trade. Okay, there it is, coming back up to our level anyway, 53.50. We're going to kind of keep our eye on this, and we're going to watch this. If this moves up into the channel, we're going to quit selling, but we're going to wait to see if that moves up into the channel or not, because this 5-minute, this longer term, is still continuing to the sell side. So 2 seconds left on this. And we're going to keep selling here. Let's get another entry here if we can. We got 1:48 left on the 5-minute here. Okay, touched our exit, didn't get us out, and that's kind of the way the market works. Sometimes you're just waiting on volume, you're waiting on the right amount of contracts for you to get out of your trade. Okay, there we go. $312.50. Okay, we're watching this 1 minute. Again, if it moves up into the channel, we're going to kind of consider where we're going from there. We may stop selling if we move up into the channel, back to the buy side. You can just kind of see the way this works by looking at these lines. They start to point down, and then they move into this channel, and you sell through that channel, right? And then they start to point up, and then they move up into the channel, and this is where you would stop selling and start buying if this was moving the right direction. But what this is doing is this is moving to the long side on a short-term basis. So this is saying 1 minute, it's going to be a little bit of buying, but overall we're still selling. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to watch this, and as soon as this flips over again, we can be comfortable going back in with the trend to the short side. Okay. We've got this dagger out here, 8 seconds. Let's go ahead and get in right here if we can, see if it fills us. So this gray line moves away. See, and what usually happens with that gray line, so we missed it. What usually happens is that gray line will move away, and if you can get in right at the peak of that, it almost always backs off of that peak because of the separation between the two. So it was a good signal, didn't quite get us in. That's okay. We'll pick the next one. That's why we have these indicators, help us pick the good ones. The other thing is that you can get impatient. You can say, man, I really want to trade, I want to hit every single trade, but guess what? You just be patient because another trade is always coming. Okay, continuing to the sell side here. Let's see if we can get into one. You can see that gray line came up here and did what it was going to do. We've missed our entry. Let's take that one down here, see if it'll give us an entry at 53. If not, we will reset up here. Yeah, missed us. Okay, so you can see here we're getting a lot of the right signals. It's just a matter of whether you want to take market or limit orders. I can come down here and I can click buy market, I can click sell market, and I'll get in right away, but what I do is I get what's called market slippage. That slippage just means that it's going to give you the next available price versus giving you the price that you actually are requesting. So I prefer to do the limit orders. Sometimes I'll do the market orders if things are really moving quickly. So just depends on the scenario. Okay, we're oversold here. Definitely still continuing that downtrend. Remember, we talked about we'd have this sell trend, a little bit of buying, but overall this longer term trend was still selling, so we would expect more selling to come. And that's what we got here. Kind of the same thing's going to take place here, it looks like. 53 is probably a decent price to try this at. Let's try it here. 53.25. What you're looking for here is you're looking for this little blip back to the long side, but looking and understanding that this is still continuing to the sell side. What's interesting about this is that you will see the previous low right here. Okay, previous low at 53, so it'll come back to that. So I actually am a quarter point too high. 53 is the entry, and I wish I would have done that sooner. 53 is the entry, and then it will come back up to that and usually flip back over and start to go back to the longer term direction. I wish I had recognized that level a little sooner. I thought it was 53.25. I was wrong. That's what I get for eyeballing it rather than drawing the line on there. Had to wait on that trade a little bit longer than I would have regularly. Okay, we're getting up into this overbought area again. You can see the red and green traveling up above this blue line. And as they level off and start to travel back to the short side, we're going to follow this down. Now there's a couple of little things that you'll learn in your training, and one of those is that whenever you have large shadows, these big protrusions coming off the bottom of these lines, that is suggestive that the selling is getting weaker. Okay, so we're going to keep our eye on that as well. Just understand that the selling is getting a little bit weaker right now. We'll do a couple more of these and then we should wrap this up. I hopefully can keep this under about 20 minutes. Not sure how long we've been running so far. Okay. Let's move this guy here. Looks like the next level, 53.75. Okay, new one posted there. 55 is the next level up top. Okay, starting to move up to the buy side here. Maybe we can take a buy order here. Okay, we got in pretty quickly there at 54.25. See if it bounces up to 54.5 to get us out. There we go. Okay, getting up here to the overbought area, and you can see this resistance is one that we want to keep our eye on. Bounced through that a little bit, but kind of stayed up there. You can see the both the red and green and the gray and black are leveling off at the top here. That just means that they're running out of steam. So we're going to keep our eye on this. Maybe we'll take a quick one here if we can. 54.75, see if it gets us in or not. Walked away from us. Let's go one down, see if it takes us. Okay, missed us on that one, that's okay. Another one's coming, as we always say. Okay, this is a decent little signal here. We'll have to see what happens at 53.75. If it actually crosses 53.75, we'll continue short with it. Let's see, 18 seconds. I want to see if this moves down into the channel. I'm looking at a sell position right now. Five seconds to determine. Let's go ahead and take it here. See if it gets us in. I like this as a sell signal. For now, it's going to turn into a buy signal, though. You can see with this gray line coming down here. We get us in. Waiting on that limit order. There we go. Position is in. You can see the position right here listed at the top. Okay, sitting on our exit, sitting on our exit. Just chewing up contracts. We're moving closer to the front of the line, waiting for our contracts to get filled. That's what you're waiting for. Two ways you get out of the market is enough contracts get filled at your price, or number two is you actually have your price get gone all the way through. So if it went down to 53.25 in that particular instance, it would fill us as well. Looks like we're going to have a little bounce back to the buy side here. Let's take it real quick. Let's try it here. You can see that gray line extending itself again here. We've got this interesting little signal going on here, the same thing happening before. Let's go ahead and take one more trade here. See if we can get in at 54.25, and then we'll wrap things up officially here. Just an interesting little signal there. It bounced off of the bottom, extended all the way back to the top, and was able to take another quick little sell trade there. Okay, wrapped up, done. I'm happy with that and the amount of time we've been here. Hopefully you guys can be as well. And we'll teach you how to do this. Appreciate you being here with us, and we'll talk to you soon.